31st of July, and I think that's what I need to emphasize. That's just but one date. So it's not as though once 31st of July comes and goes, we sort of like forget about the need to stand up and speak out against the government. There's no magic around that date. The need to unite and speak out against the government has to be a continuous obligation upon each citizen. We have to form a broad church, because nobody is safe. Whether it's the MDC Alliance MPs, whether it's journalists, whether it's teachers, whether it's nurses, whether it's civic society, whether it's business, they're coming for everybody. So it's time for us to all come together and say, you know what, ZANU-PF must go, because this system has declared war on all of us. So we have to find our collective voice, for anyone who's got a child, and if you hope for there to be anything left for the next generation, we have to literally stand up and say, you know what, enough is enough. We're sick and tired of being sick and tired. Once we're able to do that, only then can a nation be reborn. Some police officer says, no, they now have my address, they now have my name, they now have my phone number. That is not freedom. So when we as the Alliance say that the right, all these rights, whether it's the right to freedom of trade, the right to property, the right to freedom of movement, freedom of assembly, the right to protest peacefully, it's almost every single, if you're a constitutional lawyer, every single freedom that you can point to is under threat. Stand in front of Parliament with a placard. I'm not a threat to anybody's public health, and they nab her and arrest her. That's completely unacceptable. You've got someone else who said, look, I voted in Kwadzana for this MP. You see the government again, taking that right away from that person, the right to say that, look, I voted for this person, this is the person that I want to represent me. You take that right taken away. The right to a livelihood, the right to public health, all of these rights are under threat. The right to access information. We want to know, we've been asked to pay taxes in terms of the law. And yet these taxes are spent on farm mechanization tractors. And we say, whose tractors? Who gets these tractors? Who gets all this farm mechanization equipment? Just give us the list of names. They can't do that. Finally, the names are published. Finally, you've got journalists who are investigating and getting us this information. What do? They break into the homes of these journalists. They break into the homes of these people and start terrorizing them. They deny them bail, and yet the very people who are corrupt, the very people who steal the COVID-19 supplies, you see the state surprisingly saying that, no, we're not going to challenge bail against you. When we say corruption is killing us, when we say our human rights are under threat, when we say we can't breathe, this is precisely what we mean. Human rights, freedom, constitutionalism, it's the core of an existence, of our existence, our security as a people. When they then say that, look, we've got an economic crisis, no, that's not where our crisis is. Our crisis is political in nature. If we allow people to be free, if we allow people to operate in an environment where they've got all these freedoms, we shouldn't be wasting our time. As a lawyer, I shouldn't be spending all my time in court chasing all these bail hearings. Look at everybody's time wasted. All the young people who are in court every single day because they've been nabbed by this or that police officer. All the time that we spend on Twitter complaining because ED has done something, because the police have done something, because the army has done something. It's time that we should be being productive like any other young people, any other, productive professional. But we spend all our time complaining because the government is, constantly, at war with its citizens. We cannot ever spend time just being productive. You've got a whole stock exchange that's closed. That cannot be normal. How do they just wake up one day and close an entire stock exchange? That's our pensions under threat. That's jobs under threat. That's property rights under threat. One day you say Zimbabwe is open for business, the next day you just close things. The other day, all my EcoCash records were in the hands of some random police officer. How is that normal? How is that freedom? How do you have a situation where that's okay? That, I give my records to EcoCash, I subscribe, I've got a right to privacy.